Hey guys, it's Maddie with Weavin' Willow. I'm here today to show you another washcloth tutorial. This one's called the zigzag pattern. As you can see, it makes a zigzag. This is considered a beginner's tutorial. This is just using stitches over and over again repeatedly. I'm using a half double crochet stitch to do that, to create it. And for the border, I do a half double crochet stitch as well. This is a great way to use your scraps. So I've got like a whole bunch here because we're only working one way, and then at the end you end up having to weave in all these strings. It is going to require a G hook, also size 6, 4.25 millimeters, and you can see that shiny shiny. All right, I want to show you, this is typically the yarn that I am using, this cotton yarn. This one says it recommends a 5 millimeter or USH /8, medium size 4. I always use medium size 4. Some of them will recommend an I, some will recommend G, H, whatever, but this pattern actually required, recommended, I should say, not required, a G, and so I'm gonna go with the G, but if you have an H, that's totally fine. All right, so let's set this aside. We're gonna start with our chain. I'm gonna use a white for the first one. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our chain. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. Okay, fourth chain from your hook. I'm going to do a half double crochet stitch, chain 1, half double crochet. Okay, it's kind of clumped together. Doesn't look like a V right now, but believe me, it will. All right, half double crochet, but we're going to skip this next chain. Go into the one after, do a half double. Chain 1, half double again in the same chain. Okay, skip that chain, half double, chain 1, half double. All right, let's continue that way across, and then just leave the last chain because we're going to do something different. Okay, so if you have gotten to the end, you should have just one more spot that we normally would have. You know, you skip this one and then this would have been the V stitch, but that will make this get bigger. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do one half double in that last stitch. Like that. All right. So we are not going to turn our work. We are actually going to stick to one side, which means that we need to finish off on this end. So what I like to do is chain 1, take your scissors, cut. We're going to weave these in at the end. All right. So now this is our first row, and we're going back to where we started. So grab your next piece of yarn. Okay, create our chain 1. We're gonna slip stitch this in here. Pick up our work. These 3 right here on the end. Go through, put our new piece on, hook on, pull it through. Okay, chain 1, 2, 3. So now working back our way through, we're going to do the same V-type stitch with that half double. So yarn over, go through, yarn over again, pull it all the way through. Chain one, going back in through the middle of that V, half double, okay, like that. So now we're gonna work our way into the next V stitch. Nothing in between the V stitches. It's just V stitch across. And it doesn't look like a whole lot, you know, for a while, to be honest. Let's see, make sure you can see that. All right. Half double in the next one. Yeah. So like I said, it's not going to look like much for a while. I think I was halfway done through with this one and then started to really see that zigzag pattern. I think the color makes a difference too, what colors you use. But we're just doing V stitches across, half double, chain one, half double. In the middle of each, the same thing from the recent row. Just like we did on the first one, we're going to do that half double in the last half double of the first row. So I think what's easier is just to kind of go right here. Chain one, take your scissors, cut. Okay. Again, we are not flipping this work. We are going to just keep on one side, go all the way back, start again. I'm going to pick white again for this next row. I still have enough to do so. Chain one, a starting chain, okay. Find that chain of three, the beginning of the last row, go through, hook on, pull through, chain three, 1, 2, 3, like that. Let's do our half double in the middle of that V from the previous row, chain one, another half double in the same V stitch. Okay, like that. Going right into this next V stitch with a half double, chain one, half double, like that. Now you should be able to see that zigzag. All right, let me speed things up a bit and get to that end together. eternity later. Man, this one definitely takes longer than some of the other patterns I've done. A little frustrating because then also now we have to go back and weave in all these ends so that they don't unravel. So these ones already have, let's see, these ones already have like a knot technically in them, so they don't need that extra support. Whereas this one, the left side, I like to start at the top and 2 at a time, tie them together, and I double knot. So 1, and then 2. Okay. I am not going to do a whole lot of weaving. I think that when I do the border that it will hide a lot of it, so I'm not too picky about, you know, weaving all these in individually, but I do want to make sure they're nice and tight and tied well so that way they don't unravel, since I mean this is a washcloth or dishcloth or wash rag, whichever way you refer to it. So you know, it takes abuse. It definitely gets used a lot, so we have to make sure that it is solid. Okay, now that's one side. Now I like to, like I said, I'm not that picky about these standing out, so I like to go ahead and cut them out of my way, because then what happens when I start crocheting the border in here, these start getting caught in it, and then they're even more of a task to deal with. So almost missed one. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So now, you know, you can kind of see how those like stick out. I mean, it kind of looks like a rug, right? All right, this is gonna be my, no, I don't want that for my border color. I actually want to use this like ombre blue-green color. And I'm not forgetting this side, but it is the last side that will need the border. So I'll go ahead and get started on this border. So start our starting chain and go up at the top, just like you would if you were adding another row. Through, chain 2, do 2 half double crochet stitches in that first space. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is 2 in the middle of each V, a half double crochet stitch, 1 in the middle between the V's, like right here. Any more yarn? Scoozy. So these are half double crochet stitches I'm doing all around as the border. This very top row, I'm going to put 1 in between the V stitches, 2 in between the V itself. And that will get me all the way across. I'm not doing any kind of like chain in between or anything to make a V. These are just, it's a basic border. And that should keep our actual stitch count what we need it to be. No need to actually count these stitches, by the way. Borders are very forgiving for that. Ooh, the yarn is starting to turn green. I think this color said it was called C, S-E-A. It definitely reminds me, although it's kind of more like a tropical light blue, you know, aquamarine. with like a seafoam green color. Maybe that's what it meant. Seafoam green. Very mermaid tail kind of colors, if you ask me. I am almost to the first end of the first row. And then as we work our way around, it won't be as obvious which stitches, you know, we're going into. But as you get to this corner, you want to put 3 half double crochet stitches in it, in the corner, so that we can make it more squared away and not a rounded corner. All right, so now working our way, you know, down this side, I would say, you know, about like a half double crochet stitch, let's say 2 for each row. That's a good way to, and just the best way you can put it in there where you find a space is perfect. If you put too few stitches, it bunches up. If you put too many, you might get, you know, maybe not so much of a square shape, but something wavy. I had one row I just only put 1 in because it just was barely even there. That's okay. We'll still have plenty. We just want it to be able to stretch. Okay, see how that's looking? It's like a nice corner right there. Nice corner, I would say. All right, let's keep going. Oop, don't run away, yarn. Thanks for sticking this out with me. I'm sorry I had to fast forward quite a bit, but it is redundant, you know, just those V-stitches over and over and over again. This would look pretty neat with like, you know, your sports team colors maybe, you know, something like that. At the moment, I would say probably my local high school football team, you know, I've been following them, so I'd probably go with their colors. Just like blue and silver, or blue and white. I could do either one of those. I wonder if this will turn back to blue before the end. Probably. Ooh, there was one that I missed cutting. There we go. Coming up to another corner here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and turn. These are our beginning chains, so this is again an easier way, you know, to know where you need to put a stitch at. If I'm not counting, you don't have to count. Just try and get it in each one across. Maybe good as golden. I don't know if you've noticed, the direction of the sunlight in this video has moved drastically through this afternoon while I've been filming. I thought I was going to have the perfect lighting today and totally forgot about the time change that we just went through this past weekend where we fell back an hour. And I kept thinking, like, why is the sun, like, I filmed it this time before, so why is the sun like glaring on my workspace? And oh yeah, that's right, time changed, totally changed where the sun was going to be right now. So I gotta keep that in mind. I need to start filming earlier in the day. to avoid any kind of a glare. I am almost to this other corner. And kind of lay this out and see what that is looking like. Green, 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 green. Wow, this is a very colorful, it kind of reminds me of like those rag rugs. I don't know, something about it. Sometimes I really like the muted colors, sometimes I like something really colorful and bright. Catching, see, that's what I said, like you kind of catch these, is it still in there? Yes. You know, if you don't take care of those ends and weave them in or tie them or whatever, or cut them off, then they get caught in your crocheting, your border. All right. 1, 2, 3. Turn to the last side. All right, so here we are again with all of these ends, and I'm going to start tying them, double tying, double knotting, and then cutting them off. Okay, so I still had one left over here, which is gonna be what ties to the border chain, border tail. All right, let's get our last side done. Super exciting. Again, you don't have like exact stitches, you know, so just make sure you're being generous as you go along with how many stitches you put. Sometimes you might have to use the same space twice. That's totally normal. Lost my yarn. There we go. Okay. And this corner I'm only going to need to do 2. Slip stitch into this top one, the first one that we did, all the way through, chain 1, and then we're going to cut off a tail. This one I actually will weave in. Tighten that up a little bit, and on the back side, so find a spot to slip stitch it in, tighten it up, and then I like to do that with the other tail. There we go. Tighten it up, and then we can cut right here, and we are done. Yes, okay. Well, that wasn't too bad, right? Like I said, it is a beginner. Man, that takes up the whole screen. Wow, okay. Well, let's do this. Yeah, there we go. And I've got this other one. Whoop, that one got folded differently. So I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, it's worth it, right? Like, look how gorgeous that is. So pretty, and it feels so nice. I like, you know, it's not too thin. This is pretty decent size washcloth. This is like serious business. So I love it. I hope you did too. Thanks for following me along. And have a great day, guys.